Oh, hi, everybody. We're here. Technical difficulties and all that good stuff. Thanks for sticking around. Sorry if you heard some frustrations. It's very frustrating with everyone streaming. We're having so many issues going live. So thanks for sticking around. And we're going to get this started. We're just waiting for one or two more of our guys to join this. But thanks for sticking with all our hiccups here. So we are just waiting on Glenn and Tony, I believe. We got a lot of really great questions from you guys. Thank you so much. We have a lot of questions to respond. Harshit, are you going to run the deck for us? Or do you want me to? Okay.
Hi.
This is live TV, folks. We are figuring this out live. Hi, Yoki. Hi, Sergey. Hi, Rocket. Hi, Deepak. Hi, Curiel. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining. All right, we got 20 people now. This is awesome. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We've had some technical difficulties today. I think just the entire world is streaming at the same time. So, you know, we're struggling through it as everyone else is, but super important that we're able to bring this to you guys today. So thank you so much for sticking with us. We got a lot of really great questions from you all, so I'm excited to respond to them. Oh, hey, Mike. Hi, Fajar. Okay, it looks like we have most everybody here. I think we should probably get started in the interest of time, and then as Glenn is able to join, we'll jump into his question. So, all right, Harshit, feel free to go ahead and start the deck up.
Yeah.
So officially, everybody, welcome to our town hall. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties. We are excited to bring you these town halls on a monthly basis. It's really important to me and to our entire community team that we are talking to you guys and letting you know what's going on at Topcoder, answering the questions that you guys have and all that good stuff. So we really appreciate you being here. We really appreciate you asking the questions. No matter how simple or hard they are, we love all of the questions. And really excited to answer some of these really good questions for you. There we go. Thanks, Harshit. All right, so without further ado, we can jump into the next slide. We'll just see who's here today. We are only missing Glenn so far. I know he's trying to get in right now to this new webinar, but we have Glenn, Tony, Harshit, myself, and Adam here. So thank you to everybody joining in. So without further ado, let's just jump into the questions. I know you guys have questions, and I'm going to start with, in my opinion, the most important questions first. Okay, so thank you for asking this. The whole world is facing COVID-19, and there are many regions like India, which are in complete lockdown or have a curfew. Being excited a great deal about TCO. What are the precautions taken regarding the TCO schedule? So this is a really great question. As you know, a lot of us, including myself, are home, you know, with the family. We're home. We can't go anywhere, do anything, hoping to get through this pandemic that's facing our globe. So with regards to TCO, obviously it's a really tough thing that we're trying to figure out right now. As far as the regionals are concerned, we will, we will not be doing them in person. Unfortunately, we have decided that we will be doing virtual regional events. That doesn't change. It doesn't change what we wanted to do for the regionals, except for the fact that we just will be virtual. And so Harshit and myself, we're working really hard on finding the best way to do them virtually, making sure you get that same networking feel that you used to get at the regional events. And so we hope that with the plans that we put in place for the regionals, we'll be able to really do something amazing for everybody who earned a trip and who wants to compete and earn prizes. So stay tuned for more on the regionals. We're working on getting those things out to you as soon as possible. As far as the TCO finals are concerned, and Harshit, you can skip to the next question since that's really about TCO finals too. We have decided that we are not going to decide TCO yet, right? I really don't have any idea what's going to happen in November, right, in our country or anywhere in the globe for that matter, with what's all that's going on. So I don't want to say today that we're not going to have a TCO finals. I also don't want to say we are going to have a TCO finals because I really don't know. I will be making a call with the team and then in the coming months. What that date is, I'm not entirely sure, because I really think that it's important that we make the right call at the right time once we have as much information in place as possible. So for now, I'm not going to give you a date, but do know that we are working as hard as possible to try to determine if we can do a TCO finals in person or not, and when that will be. So I will keep you guys posted. You know, this is completely transparent with you. I really don't know because I want to make the right call and I don't want to do it in too busy a fashion. So hopefully we can do it. And if not, we have a lot of great plans in place to do it in some way, shape, or form. So that hopefully that answers your TCO questions. And if you have any more that come up, please let me know. All right, on to the next.
Question, yes. There you go.
All right, how to keep your spirit on up during the crisis, like of what's going on right now. Sorry, I forgot to reword this one. So I wanted to answer this question just because someone asked it, just because I think it's important for everybody. One of the greatest blessings about Topcoder is that we are a virtual community, right? So even with all that's going on, we still have each other virtually. Work has not really changed for us. It's just gotten busier as we try to bring you more and exciting things to be doing while you're home. So I think that the best thing to think about in this time right now is that we are part of Topcoder, right? Because it's that, you know, we still get that normal part of our life. We're still home, we're still working, we're still doing challenges for Topcoder, we're still bringing you really great programs and things. And there's a lot of things happening that we're doing behind the scenes as well to keep, you know, the challenges coming, to keep your guys's lifestyles busy, right? We're bringing you webinars, we're bringing you fun challenges and all different things to keep your spirits up. So I think just the fact that we are part of Topcoder should help you with this. And if you guys need any help outside of that, reach out to us because you are all very important to us and there's a lot going on and it's really hard for so many people. But I think just that normalcy of Topcoder staying the way it is, I think is really great for all of us. So we should be really grateful for that. Okay. Next question we have for Adam.
Hey everyone. So happy to be here. So the first question for me is: more people stay in isolation nowadays. Does Topcoder plan to increase the number of competitions? So we are always wanting to increase the number of competitions. As part of the community team, we are obviously also looking to keep everyone engaged. So getting our learning challenges out there and engaging with customers on any new technologies they also want to bring to the Topcoder platform. So, you know, our whole goal is to increase the number of competitions. And I think there may be some more questions that I'll dive into this more, but yes, the answer to this question is yes. Next question.
Sure.
So lately I'm seeing the number of design challenges are reduced. I often find myself refreshing the challenge page to find nothing new. Is this going to be the case until COVID-19 goes, or is it a trend regardless? Need an honest answer. So my honest answer to this is I think anyone who's been a designer at Topcoder for a long time, you see kind of the peaks and valleys. So it's still consistently doing that while we are continuing to try and get more design work. I believe the nature of this is tied to the types of customers Topcoder goes after. Okay, so our audience, our customer audience is large enterprise customers. Okay, so it's not like it's not like agencies are using us. It's not like there are companies that are just coming and using us for design. They're using us for design and development and for data science. But typically, they're coming to us for development first, with design being something to improve the overall user experience and improve their apps. So the honest answer right now is we're working to get more, but it's not, day to day. The initial work that comes in is dev and then design. Next question. Is the plan to make member payments paid out in 15 days permanently, or is that number of days still subject to increase or decrease? So our plan is to make that permanent. When we announced it here 2 weeks ago, we want to kind of temper it and just understand, like, is it working? How does it affect our current process? How does it affect our business? But our goal, everyone on this call, my goal is we want to make that permanent. We do not want to rescind that, but we also have to understand the data, and we have to understand how it impacts things. So as of right now, I think things are going as planned, and we'll keep you updated on that. But our intention, definitely my intention, is that we want that to be permanent. Next question. What happened to the new payment methods that were proposed a few months back? And over to Tony. You have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so there was for a while some research being done to figure out a new provider to work with that could be an upgrade from what we currently do with PAX and Payoneer and PayPal and Western Union. So we did some research. We shelved it for a little while to work on other things. It may come back up later in the year, but we don't have it specifically on the roadmap yet. But it is one of those things that's on the potential list. In the short term, actually, it kind of goes in our list of tech debt, but one of the things that we did pick up instead right in front of that was the replacement of the forums. So we are working towards replacing that, which hopefully is good news to everybody. But then the new payment system will come at some point, but not in the immediate next few months or next couple quarters. It'll be a little bit further out.
Okay, Topcoder weathered the 2008 financial recession. I was around then. I think Tony was and Jesse was. Yeah. There's a lot of talk that the coronavirus is going to cause a financial depression. Have there been any talks around this, and are there any plans in motion? So I don't think that we've had any talks around it necessarily being a financial depression, but we've definitely talked about what's the impact, right? So to some of the earlier questions, what's the impact on our customers? What's the impact on our projects? So our sales team is still working hard to get after it. We still have, as many of you know, like the peaks and valleys. So our sales cycle for getting a customer going isn't like a customer comes in and they just start working right away. So a lot of those conversations and a lot of those prospects are still happening. And we still see those things coming to fruition soon. Okay, so we're upbeat and excited about that we're still having those conversations. There's obviously a lot more interest in remote work. So there's a lot more interest in what all of you do at Topcoder. And then there's interest in our talent as a service that I think there's some questions here in a little bit. So we haven't discussed exactly a financial depression. We are upbeat because we do know that we did pretty well. Well, we survived the 2008 financial recession by running a different type of business, by engaging our customers in a different way. We are viewed as an alternative way of getting work done. So I still think that still holds true, and I'm still excited by the conversations we're having. We just have to work through like any existing customers who may be delaying things because they're obviously not in the office or they're not able to work on projects because we're all at home. But we also, I also know that our ongoing sales discussions are still happening. It's not like those have stopped. Next question.
Hey, Adam, and just another quick comment that I remember from that too. I do remember during that time, a lot of innovation came out of it as well, just because when pressure's put on us, we we get to think of more creative ways to engage the community, and that turned into a lot of new things that we ended up doing, and a lot of different types of work that we put out to the community that maybe not, wouldn't have happened at that time if we didn't have that pressure on us to do that. So it does open up doors for innovation as well.
Great point. So, co-pilots actually came out. The whole co-pilot process, us reanalyzing, some of the challenge formats actually happened around 2008 from the own pressures that we had at Topcoder. So it was, to Tony's point, we did have some new innovations and new thought processes on how to get work done, which is what we're also, of course, teaching our customers and hopefully future customers as they are realizing these same things, these same issues, actually some of the issues that we realized back in 2008. Okay, is my money safe on PAX? Yes, your money is safe on PAX. So, I mean, it is your money. I'm not sure where else I can take this question, but if something happens to Topcoder, it is still your money. So, I mean, it is safe in PAX.
Okay, now next question, Adam, is, yeah.
So I'm going to take this question. The lockdown, shipping department issues, T-shirt winners. Okay, so I want to address this because I know how important T-shirts are to our community, and that's why we always give you guys T-shirts. I know they're super, super important. We're not going to stop awarding T-shirts, but there might be a delay in getting your T-shirt. And so I'm really hoping that you folks can be patient and work with us and know that T-shirts are still so important to us, but we don't want to mess with any of the integrity of this pandemic that's going on right now. We don't want anything bad happening to anybody. So we are going to hold off T-shirt shipping until we know it's safe to do so and when the companies are back to doing them. So for now, if you want a T-shirt and you haven't received it yet, we know, and we are going to work very, very hard as soon as all of this is over to make sure you get your shirt. So thank you for your patience, and just know there's a whole team of people who are helping to make this happen for you. So just please bear with us. So thank you.
Okay, next question, yeah.
Yep. So I'll take this one. So how do you deal with the bias issue of co-pilots? Topcoder members have realized that some are biased regardless of how you work. You'll get a bad rating, very unfair. So if you ever do come across something that you perceive or actual bias from a co-pilot or any sort of escalation on a co-pilot, definitely just bring that up with like Topcoder support at topcoder.com. From that, likely myself or like Tony will get involved, and we'll investigate the situation as fairly as possible and arrive at like a resolution. So anything that happens, you don't have to, there's always like a way you could make sure that's actually being done in an equitable manner and investigated. So just keep that in mind. We also have the challenge operations team. This consists of a couple of community members in each track, and we're tracking anything that has to do with quality on the platform, especially with respect to different challenges going on. So how good specs are, if co-pilots are communicating the forms properly, and different things like that. So checks on the community, checks on the co-pilot, and checks on ourselves as well, just to make sure that everything is fair and everything is rated equally. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me directly, and I could go deeper into that if you want.
Okay.
I think the next few questions are for Tony and Glenn as well.
Okay.
Oh, and I'll take this one too. So selection process. So the first thing to do is just go to topcoder.com/community/tasks. So there we have the equivalent of like a challenge listing page, but for task opportunities. So we have various task opportunities open. You could apply for any of those specific jobs, and you can also apply on our generic form just to be part of task pools in the future. So if you see something that fits you, go ahead and apply, and then we'll check out the application. So once it actually goes to us, there's a couple of things that we look at right off the bat. One is, do you have a Topcoder rating? Do you have a record on a Topcoder? With the requisite skills that job requires, do you actually have those skills on your Topcoder profile? If you don't, do you have a derivative skill, that will allow you to easily compete, within that competition itself. So for example, if you're a front-end developer, but you don't know, like Lightning weight components for Salesforce, you could probably make that transition. And we did some validation challenges for you guys to kind of wrap up that way. So just because you don't have the skill doesn't mean you can't actually compete there. But it all comes down to actually being having a competition record. And if you don't have a competition record, making sure that you do develop one or go into the validation or fun challenges that we run all the time would be a good way to start with that as well. Once we kind of get through that first level of validation, then we go to like a second level validation, like with the client as well. So any specific requirements they may have as far as, like time zone, location, if they have security issues, it can mean some other things as far as, can they ship hardware to you? Are you eligible to ship hardware to that country? So the specific things like that, that is beyond the initial validation that we'll do as well. But if you have a competition record and you are a good competitor, you'll likely pass like that first level validation. And if you got any questions, we set up an email at task.community@topcoder.com. And you can read, and that email connects to myself and Tony, and we'll answer questions that you have on task directly as well.
Thanks, Glenn. That was very detailed. Yeah, the next one is again related to tasks.
I'll take this one. So what changes does task create? Does it represent a substitute or a complement to the challenge format? So it's definitely a complement to the challenge format. So we're positioning tasks as a new set of work that we're getting from customers. So you should see it as adding to existing work that's out there in the form of challenges today. We're not rolling it out with any intention for it to be a replacement for any of the competitions that we're running out there. And the conversations all the way from sales through operations and delivery are all they're all aligned with that position as well. Glenn and I from the ops side as well, we're constantly monitoring the volume of work that's going through and the different types of work. So we're very sensitive to tracking what that trend is and making sure that it stays at a healthy level. So yeah, short answer is it's definitely going to be a complement, and it should be additive to what you see out there today. And just on that note too, I'll plug a previous webinar that we did too, just specifically on tasks. I think you can find it up on the YouTube page, but a lot of the questions are out there in that webinar, and there was some good discussion there as well. So definitely check it out when you get a chance.
Okay, moving on to the next question. That's again for Glenn or Tony.
I think I'm taking this one too. So task seems overly heavily weighted towards coding and dev. When can we expect a proper distinction be made between programming and design? So the short answer here is it is intended to be for all the different types of roles. So we are including all tracks. So design, QA, dev, data science, that is all being sold as part of the task offering. The initial demand is heavy on dev right now. That's why you're not seeing as much of the other tracks coming through right now. But the idea is that it's just a matter of time before we start getting demand for the other tracks as well. We are starting to see actually a little bit of design demand right now from some existing customers that are reaching out to us. So just stay tuned and be a little bit patient with us for that to get out there. But the intention is it will be all tracks.
Okay, another question for tasks. So Glenn or Tony again.
Yeah, so similar answer on this one. So what are the plans for task expansion into the data science community? Right, same thing. So we actually do have a lot of interest in data science from our customers. And I know if you're familiar with Andy or Nate, they've been exploring with a bunch of different ways to engage the data science community with customers. So one of those ways is tasks, right? And same sort of thing, we will start seeing demand for that, and we will start matching data science community members there. So up on the task page that Glenn mentioned there, when you sign up for tasks to be included in the overall process, one of the options that you can select is that you are in the data science community and you want to see data science opportunities. So same thing there, that's coming down the road as well.
Okay, we have one more question about tasks.
Yep, so I'll take this one. So we actually have developed about 4 different groups, and about like 4 or 5 of them are active right now. So all those are like internal groups that we're using tasks to also test out and also get work done on our own platform right now. So we do have some groups that like are in flight, and the plan is to actually expand them. It's like a QA group, platform engineering group, Right now they're small, but we do have a lot of work coming in internally that we're going to continue to expand those groups and invite people that are already in the queue to come join those groups. From the task listings page that I was talking about earlier, we do have existing opportunities that are on that page right now. As we get them, as we get those requests from customers, we basically post them onto like the page. So a lot of these customers are still trying to learn what TAS is and how they want to interact with it and how they want to work with like the community. So there is a learning curve that the client is still going through to understand what we're doing, since we are doing something a little bit differently, especially for like our existing clients. So that requires a little bit longer of a process for them to get to the point that we're starting to activate client task groups. So that is the high level of why there's a little bit of delay in some of these launching from like the client perspective, but they are coming. And it's just, I think once we pass that education curve, we're going to start flowing with a lot more work coming in from the task side of the house.
Harshit, before we go on to the next question, we had something Fajar asked, after applying to TAS, how do we know if we're being accepted or rejected? So I think that's a great question to address as well.
Yep. If your handle is fajar.mln, you're good to go. You're going to be in a task group if something design related comes up. So I did just send, I do send like a generic like welcome email for everybody like in the task group that joined from like the generic form. So I go through that list. I do what I said before with like my validations with whether that person has a Topcoder record. If they just have a Topcoder record, it looks like they competed for a while, they won a couple of different challenges, then they pass like the first like level of screening. Everybody else, they're still eligible, but once we have a requirement that comes out that requires a skill and they don't have a Topcoder record, that's what initiates those validation challenges that I was talking about. So until you get a clear email that says you are in X group and you'd be working with this client, you haven't either the opportunity hasn't came up yet, or you haven't passed like the first level of validation. But in either case, once an opportunity comes up, you would know about it though.
Okay, any more questions, Jesse, around TAS?
Yeah, there's one question for you, moving on from TAS before you conquer the rest of the questions that just came up. How are the points calculated for the algorithm TCO Regionals? So if you want to just give a quick, since we already talked about TCO, if you want to give a quick overview on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so it's just so TCO regional leaderboards are just filtered leaderboards of the generic TCO leaderboards, the global TCO leaderboards we have. So we just filter out based on your country. That's all. The point system remains the same. So in Algo, you are actually awarded points according to your position in each division in the SRM that is being run in that stage. So if you land up in top of division 2, you get 3 points. If you end up in the next 10, you get 2 points, and then after that you get 1 point if you get a positive score. Similarly, it's all written on TCO20.topcoder.com website. All the rules you see for the TCO20 in the bigger picture, the point system remains the same for the regionals also. The regional leaderboards are just filtered based on your country. That's all. The point system remains the same. Hope that answers. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Harshit. We do have another question that just came in from TAS too, if we want to go back to that topic, from Harish Chinapati. Hi, I am a student, a beginner competing in challenges and making good progress. Can I be accepted into TAS?
So if you use the intake form, you're already provisionally basically part of like the greater task pool. So based off of whatever skills that you put within that, whatever skills on your profile, and whatever challenges that you compete in that have like the required skills for that task group, that'll be cross-referenced, and then you may potentially become eligible to actually join like a client group. But you already are part of like the greater pool if you filled in that form. It's just depending on how much demand that we get from like the client side, as you get to folks that don't have competition records, but probably do have like the skills, then we'll run those validation challenges and move you into task groups as long as you pass like those validation challenges. And we're doing those currently on an as needed basis. So once we do have an opportunity that requires, you know, a skill that you have and you're able to test for it, then we'll bring that forward to you guys as an opportunity. And those will also be published on the challenge listings page as well. So just take a look at those. We ran a Salesforce and iOS challenges already.
Awesome. Thanks, Glenn. So Harshit, I think we can continue on with the rest of the questions. I believe they all are owned by you. And then we can see if anyone else has any other questions. So just either put them in the chat or, you know, throw them in that form, whatever works for you guys.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, this is like, I like really want to answer this question in a more detailed manner. So basically, whenever somebody asks me how can I get involved and learn more from Topcoder, I basically answer, go and compete. When you compete, you actually see what other people are doing, how they approach. The forums are very friendly, you know, especially the data science matches forums are very open, very friendly. Sometimes they start a thread, which is like post your approach. It's a very common thread in all the data science competitions. You can just see what approaches they have had, what the best people have had. You can ask them questions, and that's how you learn more of data science from Topcoder. However, I would like to add, now we are, consistently working on getting more content for you so that you can learn step by step details about getting better as a data scientist. We are increasingly getting more and more. We recently launched our content portal Thrive, and we are increasingly getting more and more articles loaded into that, more and more guides loaded into Thrive. And you know, if you want to write about data science or any other topic you have in your mind, you can always reach out to us. You know, it's thrive@topcoder.com. Like, send us an email and we'll send you the details. So we will be building journeys. We'll be making sure that you can hop onto any part of the journeys and any part of that journey and learn about that. That's how you can improve. And even we will bring whatever learnings members have from challenges to those Thrive articles so that you can still keep learning from them also. Yeah. I hope that answers. The next one is also for me. What makes Topcoder different from other coding platforms like Codeforces and CodeChef? Okay, so I mean, like Topcoder as a whole offers you a lot of different, I should say, more opportunities. It actually makes you, you know, you not only do competitive programming, which like Codeforces and CodeChef are more focused towards just competitive programming. Topcoder offers you different and more opportunities to go out and learn data science, compete in data science competition, compete in more of industrial projects, compete in development, compete in design. So Topcoder offers you a whole picture in particular. If I just have to talk about the competitive programming sides of all the three platforms you listed here, I think what I feel, you know, each one of has their own positive pros and cons, but Topcoder has a very unique competition format. Topcoder does a lot of different things with competitions. We do a lot of on-site events. We connect a lot of members. As I said, we give you different opportunities. Even when it comes to competitive programming, we want you to meet each other. We want you to talk about problems. We want to make sure that you learn something out of it. Basically, competitive programming at Topcoder is we want to make an investment on members to get them upskilled, to get them better in programming. So Topcoder, if I again like come back to the question, the competition, just concentrating on competitive programming, competition format, the ability to do more on-site events, and you know, making sure members meet, collaborate, learn from each other is something that makes Topcoder different from the coding platforms like Codeforces or CodeChef. Yeah. I'll jump on to the next question. And yeah, I really like this question actually. And this is something which one of our challenge ops co-pilot Kate's brought in last town hall too. So we basically are working on, so if you go to Thrive right now, there are some of the very good and old data sets which were used on some interesting data science matches, now open to you to play around with those data sets. But the question is about making things open source. We have done something like Community for Social Good. We have also done we have also made some things open source, but now going forward, we are going to do some hackathons, and the focus towards those hackathons would be to do something, develop something as an open source thing for you. The code should be available. You can fork the repository, go back, develop more on it. That would be the focus of the hackathons. It was a great point brought up by one of our members, Ketan. So we have been working on that, talking to him and trying to ideate how we can make this happen. So it will take some time to get into a flow where we do more of we were trying to run projects and then open source them for the community to use and develop on it. But we will get there. In the meantime, we have some we try our best to get you the best data sets and data science, or let's say some of the code snippets are if they were really used by members in a very good manner, we try and write a blog post or Thrive article on that, so that you get to use that kind of code available from a fun challenge or from a learning challenge. But as a perfect procedure for this, we'll get there. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I always whenever you ask me what you want to do at Topcoder, I think about beginners at first, because there are so many things to learn, and I feel I empathize myself as a beginner and want to take it in their perspective sometimes, majorly. But so for beginners, like I just like I told about answered the data science question earlier, that we plan to build journeys, and those journeys will start from zero. So if you don't know the thing, we will actually teach you, this is how you start in this, and this is how you grow altogether with if you want to grow in a particular track. And those journeys will be open for ideas. We will not be restricted to only Topcoder articles. We will also link the external articles. That will just be the curated journeys. We as admins with some community members with your ideas work together to build, because you guys know better than just us, and we want all your ideas. So we will build these journeys, and these journeys will really help beginners to grow. Moreover, if like more events, like we're doing webinars right now, these webinars are really interesting, and they are all beginner focused. We want to, like, they're all focused as in we want you to start from scratch. Like recently we did a webinar on game development. It was basically focused towards making sure that you learn game development from scratch. You develop a simple game. This week we are doing 2 webinars. One is tomorrow and there's one day after tomorrow. One of them is just how to start building APIs. Like that's so beginner friendly that you will learn from the super scratch. So we always like to do collegiate events and go to colleges and run some events which are focused towards more of beginners, so that they can ramp up and make sure that they grow. Also, we are planning some kind of onboarding competitions for you guys, and learning competitions where beginners can actually feel very open and very friendly to ask questions and go in and compete on those and learn about those technologies. So you will see all those things very soon in one place, where you feel that these things are available to you as a beginner to start and get started on technologies or Topcoder platform itself.
Great, thanks, Harshit. That was really great. Thank you for all those amazing questions. Those came in advance. So we do have a few that have come up since we started. So I'll go to a couple more task questions. One is from a gentleman who has done the level 1 challenge for Salesforce. So Glenn and team have been running some challenges to help people get ramped up on Salesforce. Will there be more level 2 or similar challenges to test for task positions, Glenn?
Yes, absolutely. So the Salesforce challenge itself and any other challenge we run, we're going to actually run it as like individual validations as well. So if you apply for the Salesforce opportunity, we'll put you in the queue, and then we'll have one of our co-pilots basically run a test with you, which will basically be like a level 2, and we'll be running those on a one-off basis as basically like private in the form of like a private task. So you can still actually finish it off. Just reach out to myself or Shraf Kumar 92, and we'll get you started with like the level 2.
Awesome. So hope that answers your question. And then the other question that was task related is task permanent in the platform?
Yes. It's intended to be a permanent thing. My assumption is that it will evolve and change as we learn more. But as a general concept, yeah, the intention is to make that work.
Awesome. And then we had a question from David about new members and whatnot. Tony, you want to tackle that question as well? I know you're pulling stats together and stuff.
Yeah, I'll show you what I'm looking at real quick, and then we can probably follow up with. I know you're probably interested in slicing it in different ways, and we can give some more insight into that as well. But just raw new membership, if we look at it, actually last week we had, looking at the run rates, we had 1,200 more new members than we had in the previous few weeks earlier in March. So there is definitely a pretty significant increase in the number of new signups. And then if we look at overall participation, like what new people are signing up for competitions, I don't have all the tracks right in front of me, but if I just look at dev and design, there is, I'm looking at, it looks like there's about a 30 to 40% increase from February to March in terms of new people registering for design and development challenges, and about the same increase if we look at new submitters as well. So good, healthy trends in terms of participation. For country statistics, we can look at those. That actually would be very interesting. We started to look at a little bit last week, but we don't have any solid data I can at least share yet with you, but I'm happy to do that at some point after here.
Awesome, thank you.
And one of the great things in relation to that is also we've released new email registration campaigns. So anybody registering, actually Jesse and team, there's a whole new series of links and educational material for any members onboarding. So many of you that are listening right now, you've already gone through the onboarding, you're already part of our community, but there is new material out there for anyone registering right now.
Yeah, and then to touch upon that too, I was going to go over this at the beginning, but didn't want to take away from the question and answer time. But one of the things that we are working on as an overall team is onboarding and improving the way that you join Topcoder and jump into competitions. So it's something that's a priority for community team right now. Working on those new emails and new learning series and things like that is very important to us. Okay, so we got a couple more questions. And one is about TCO again. So I did address TCO 20 questions at the beginning, but just to reiterate, we have decided to move to regionals as virtual only. And as far as the TCO finals are concerned, we have not decided what the best course of action is as of yet. So we will have a TCO finals in person or virtual. We're still not sure. So please stay tuned. We will keep you guys posted. Okay, another question from David. Can we run an ideation workshop or something to potentially identify new markets, opportunities for Topcoder? Great question. Adam, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely open. Well, I mean, it makes me think about a few things, but I mean, we're definitely open to new markets, new opportunities. You know, our goal here at Topcoder is to be the operating system for talent for the world. So there is room here to get into other markets. The key thing here is bringing customers to Topcoder, having them understand that they're working with a great community like you guys, understanding that it is a safe and secure place to work, to bring their projects. And it's kind of once we, as you know, a lot of the great customers you guys work with, once we get them past that, they stay with Topcoder. So definitely open to new markets, new opportunities. I'd love to run a challenge on that, and also see to see honestly where you guys think we could take you know, the great talents that you all have.
I love the mindset just in general of that question.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that we always prove is the more that we involve the community and things like this, the better we come out in the end of it.
Absolutely. Totally agree. All right. I don't see any new questions as of yet. So I think we might be good for the day. I would invite all of you, if any other questions arise, you can find us in the forums. You can email us simply at support@topcoder.com. And we are going to hopefully do these every month, hopefully next time without technical difficulties. So thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Tony, Glenn, Harshit, Adam, and Nick as well for helping us get this up and running. Thank you to all of you for asking the questions. It really helps us to identify where your thoughts are and what you're thinking about, how we can help you and improve our community. So you guys have a great rest of your night, day, whatever, and we will talk to you soon. So thanks, everybody.